All right. Scene 1. Lights up on a dimly lit stage. There is a single couch dead center. Billy enters. They have a headset wrapped around their neck and carry a clipboard. Throughout the display, whenever Billy is on stage and not doing anything, they should be constantly writing on their clipboard. Billy approaches the audience.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's taping of the Jimmy Jenkenheimer Adventure Supermaster Show. Already I see some longtime fans. Woo! Note to Jimmy, someone finally cheered. But for our newcomers, the Jimmy Jenkenheimer Show has some pretty easy rules to follow.
But at this time, Billy makes any front of house announcements necessary to the theater being performed in. They then pull out a plastic red card from their hand that says, "Please clap."
In addition to all of that, our GoFundMe is still trying to pass the $70 milestone. So instead of a traditional applause sign, if you see me, Jimmy, or anyone else hold up one of these, please give us your biggest, heartiest cheer. And please, only cheers. Do not say the following names at any point during the show: Jenkenheimer, Jimmy Jerkface, Mr. Fart, and please, I have to emphasize this last one, stop shouting "Jimmy did it, OJ is innocent." The Jimmy Jenkenheimer Show is first and foremost an educational program. We're here to talk about as many famous and public domain books as we can fit into an hour-long show. For example, please shout out your favorite book of all time.
I don't read.
That was great. We're probably not going to talk about any of these books tonight. That was a great example of audience participation. And that's going to happen a lot. Finally, before each show, we hand out raffle tickets to see which audience member would be tonight's special assistant on Jimmy's next adventure. So, without further ado, tonight's raffle winner is 80085.
Hey, that's me!
Right there! Come on up, sir.
Billy pulls up their red card. William comes down the stage.
Hey, I'm William. Who are you?
I'm Billy. Go ahead and take a seat over.
Oh, Billy, look at that. We've got the same name.
No, we don't. Now, if you could just make your way.
Yeah, so I know you've probably already picked some books, but do you think there's a chance we could talk about Don Quixote tonight? See, I've got this paper due tomorrow, and I haven't really started it.
We can go live in 16
Oh,
seconds.
but,
Billy walks away frantically. They put on their headset.
Stand by light cue 5 and sound cue 3.
William awkwardly looks at the audience. He takes a second to recognize he's now part of the show and takes an uncomfortable seat on the couch.
Light cue 5, go.
Who's ready for adventure? Well, let's go! Boys and girls around the world, get ready for a time that you don't want to miss. Jimmy's here, so show no fear. He can find the ninja. Everything is good. Jimmy Adventure Supermaster. He travels through time and he loves the color blue. Jimmy Adventure Supermaster. He parties with bears and dolphins too. Jimmy's here, sure to have a good time. So be sure to just adventure won't let you do. When Jimmy jumps to another dimension, there's bound to be trouble from the lobster and the crew. Jimmy Adventure Supermaster. He may not be smart, but he's got a lot of heart. Jimmy Adventure Supermaster. Buy the whole season at your local Walmart. It's Jimmy.
Scene 2. During this intro, a projection is shown on the screen, blah, blah, blah. When the song ends, lights return, revealing Jimmy Jenkenheimer sitting on the couch next to William. He wears a bright red suit jacket, black shirt, black pants, and white tie.
Oh my God!
Hi there! Welcome to the Jimmy Jenkenheimer Adventure Supermaster Show. That's me. I'm Jimmy.
I don't want to do this anymore.
William stands up and starts to walk back to the seat. Jimmy stops him.
Hey, don't be scared, Weeham. We believe that on this soundstage, everyone's ready for an adventure.
My name is William.
Hey, Billy, I thought you said his name was Weeham.
That's what I heard.
We have the same name, dude.
Weeham. Wilhelm. William. Oh, like William McKinley, the president whose chest got blasted by the Polishman. Well, come on, take a seat.
Jimmy softly but intensely pats the couch. William cautiously sits back down.
So, are you a longtime fan of the show? I heard maybe we're starting to get some of those.
Jimmy turns to Billy. They either nod or shake their head, depending on if people cheered in the beginning.
Actually, not really, no. My roommate handed me this flyer the other day. He saw you handing them around the campus before security had to kick you out.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, okay? It's great, because the most important thing I just heard was that you are a first-time viewer.
Yeah, actually, I was wondering if there's a chance we could cover a specific book. I'm supposed to write a 5,000 word on...
Loud bear growl cuts William off.
Oh, you know what that sound means, everyone? It's time for...
Jimmy waits for the
the... Okay, you don't know what time that is? That's okay. It's time for the bucket of books!
Billy comes out with a plastic gallon bucket. They hold it out to William.
All right, William. In this bucket is every culturally significant story our legal team approved. Just reach your hand in, and whatever you pull out will be the start of today's adventure.
Is Don Quixote in here?
Jimmy and Billy both shrug. William closes his eyes and reaches his hand in.
Don Quixote, Don Quixote, Don Quixote.
William pulls out a copy of The Great Gatsby.
Oh, looks like you picked The Great Gatsby. I sure hope you got your tuberculosis vaccine.
What? Why would I?
Well, I've only got one last question for you, William. Are you ready for an adventure?
I mean, I guess, but actually, man, I really need to learn about Don Quixote.
Jimmy strikes William in the head with the book. William falls back onto the couch unconscious. Billy sits next to him on the couch. Jimmy hands Billy the book.
See you on the other side, Jimmy.
Billy strikes himself in the head with the book. They fall down unconscious, but pull the book out for Jimmy to grab it as they fall. Jimmy snaps it.
All right, everyone. Now, this one's a bit tricky. Yeah, I don't have the time or consent to go around slapping all of you. So I need us to connect on a bit of a spiritual level here. So everyone take one deep breath and think about your favorite scene from The Great Gatsby. And if you haven't read it, that's okay. Just think about your favorite thing about the 1920s. Prohibition, the Model T, Warren G. Harding's heart exploding. Now, hold that breath and exhale.
As the audience exhales, Jimmy hits himself in the head with his book. He collapses unconscious. Blackout. Scene 3. Lights up. The crab-handed man stands alone on an empty stage. His arms are crossed and his hands are concealed under his flannel jacket.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, did you think tonight was just going to be about Jimmy and his rollicking band of hooligans? Oh no. Let me be the first to tell you that despite what the foolish Billy might have said, nothing about tonight's show will be educational. Unless you count the education of danger and stabbing. Who am I, you ask? Wouldn't you like to know? See, this is my scene, where we play by my rules, and I get to decide when and how I introduce myself. Let me introduce myself. My name is... the Crab-Handed Man! But I didn't come alone. Please welcome my companions.
As he says their names, each member of the lobster-handed crew appears on stage.
Captain Crayfish, the Isopod Mistress, and the Shrimp-Faced Gentleman. Together we form the Lobster-Handed Crew, a band of crustaceans, aligned individuals focused on one goal. Kill Jimmy Jenkenheimer! And today we will finally achieve our goal. Then, my brethren, once Jimmy falls, we may finally return to liberating our fellow shellfish companions from the tyranny of mankind. Then, as the lobster-headed man desired, we shall enslave the human race as they once enslaved us. Death to Jenkenheimer!
Jenkenheimer!
Death to mankind!
Death to mankind!
Long live the claw!
Long live the claw!
This is all so joyous! Such fortuitous circumstances we find ourselves in today. I feel like a ginger ale to celebrate. Shrimp face.
The shrimp-faced gentleman reveals a can of ginger ale they were hiding beneath the back. The crab-headed man grabs it gleefully. However, due to his crab claws, he is unable to open the can. After a moment, he hands it back to the shrimp-faced gentleman.
I'll drink it later.
Scene 4. Lights up on William lying on the ground. He groans as he stirs awake.
Ow. I think I have a concussion.
Hey, don't worry, William. I've had more concussions than numbers I can count up to anymore. You know, after your 9th or 10th, there's just not really any more damage to be done.
Why did you hit me?
You said you were ready for an adventure.
How was I supposed to know that meant you were gonna hit me?
Gee, William, how else do you start an adventure?
A lot of waves, maybe none at all. An adventure doesn't have to be like a literal thing. LeVar Burton did use an actual rainbow to teach kids to read. Wait, this isn't the studio anymore. Where are we?
Lights up on the other half of the stage. The couch is now turned to face upstage. Gatsby kneels on the couch so that his folded arms rest on the top of the couch's back as he looks wistfully into the audience.
Is that?
Jay Gatsby, I'm right on schedule. Oh, and it looks like you all made it out too. I think. Crap, how about I send anyone to the 1820s again?
Jimmy, what's happening?
Oh, you really don't follow the show. Billy, can you give him the breakdown while I make sure the coast is clear?
Jimmy starts to stalk Gatsby. Billy pulls William aside.
See, William, Jimmy is an adventure supermaster.
That's a real thing.
He spent years unlocking the abilities of interdimensional travel through intense meditation, and in some cases, psychedelic marriages.
He can travel into books.
Yep,
And he goes on adventures.
yep.
And he decided to use that power to host a TV show.
Oh, it's happening. Come quick, guys.
Billy leads William behind Jimmy. The three sit crouched watching Gatsby. Jimmy points off stage.
There he is. You see him? That's George Wilson.
What's he doing?
A gunshot is heard. Gatsby falls down dead. William in terror while Jimmy claps and Billy holds up their red applause card.
Oh, and there goes George. Come on, everybody. Say goodbye, George. Goodbye, George.
Another gunshot is heard off stage. Jimmy leaps from his crouch position and approaches the couch.
Oh, man, wasn't that great? Now, William, being our guest, why don't you start us off by sharing what you think the significance of Gatsby's death happening in the swimming pool is?
Is someone gonna call 911?
Oh, for this guy? Don't worry, William. I've seen Gatsby get shot 37 times.
37?
You know, sometimes even yell duck just to make sure see what will happen. The dude is just destined to have his brains blown out. Here, I like to help the EMTs a bit by fishing his body out of the pool.
Jimmy steps over the couch, pretending to wade into the water. He grabs Gatsby's lifeless body and drags him out of the water.
Hi, I'm the Great Gatsby. Oh no, is that a green light?
Jimmy drags Gatsby's body off stage, ad-libbing more remarks that mock the Great Gatsby. As he does this, the crab-handed man slowly rises from where Gatsby was stationed. Billy becomes alarmed while William is confused.
Tom Buchanan has crab claws?
Jimmy, look out!
Jimmy!
The crab-handed man strikes at Jimmy, sending him launching out of the pool. Jimmy rises to his feet and joins Billy, who William is fearfully hiding behind.
Crab-handed man.
You know this guy?
He's the most notorious anarchist in the whole Great Gatsby universe.
He's what?
Well, if it isn't Jimmy Jerkface.
Hey!
You've returned to my home, and now you shall meet your doom. Captain Crayfish, seize them!
Captain Crayfish enters holding a crayfish in his hands.
Is that a lobster?
Worse, it's a crayfish.
Very meaty.
The crayfish becomes animated and aggressive in his hands and struggles to control it.
Got a plan, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Jimmy pulls out a purple book from his jacket. He hands it to William.
Here, use this on anyone you want to die. Okay, be right back. Good luck.
Jimmy exits.
Wait, where is he?
The crayfish growls and chases after William and Billy. As they run around the stage, Captain Crayfish drops his spell. Billy and William split up. Captain Crayfish chases after Billy to the other side of the stage. William clumsily grabs the book and starts to read.
Dominium Tum Akider.
Suddenly, the crayfish stops chasing after Billy. Captain Crayfish struggles to hold them in his hands. He begins to panic and run off stage as the crayfish begins to attack them. The crab-handed man sighs and sends out a puke on the pool.
It is annoying to see Captain Crayfish fail at such simple tasks. But if it means my claw shall get to bathe in your blood, I suppose that is fortuitous.
William looks scared, but Billy quickly grabs him and walks him to an angle where they are facing the crab-handed man directly. The crab-handed man sidesteps awkwardly as he tries to change angles.
What's he doing?
The crab-headed man can only walk side to side like a crab.
Yeah, no, I think it could.
We've got some time to go.
Each time the crab-handed man is able to sidestep towards Billy and William, they walk to a new angle, forcing the crab-handed man to awkwardly reorient himself. This happens 3 times before Jimmy is able to come back with a new book in his hand.
Hey, what'd I miss?
Mostly just more of this.
Where were you?
Oh, Gatsby study.
Wait, but that's where...
Well, it's only if we need it.
Okay, this time I'm gonna get you.
Oh, we should get out of here, because he's real agile once he's had a second to warm up his knees.
Does that mean you're gonna hit me again? I'm not sure.
Jimmy hits William with the book. He doesn't fall down.
Ow, come on, dude!
Sorry, I wasn't in the zone for that one.
Jimmy backs down William 2 more times before he finally collapses. He quickly hits Billy, who falls down in one try before he keeps hitting himself.
No, wait!
Lights out on Jimmy, Billy, and William. The crab-handed man stands alone. The remainder of the Ice Pod Mistress and Sugar-Faced Gentleman come onto the stage with Captain Crayfish looking behind them.
It seems our brethren has failed us.
Okay, so yeah, that didn't go great, but crayfish are sensitive creatures, and I just got snuggles out of a very vulnerable state. So if we could start with some positive feedback before launching into some light constructive criticism, I think we could.
The crab-handed man lurches forward and clamps down Captain Crayfish's abdomen.
Incompetence will not be tolerated.
My intestines!
Captain Crayfish falls to the ground, writhing in pain.
There will be no more failure from my crew.
We fail because we take on tasks that should have never been given.
Pardon.
It's been 3 years. Our people need our strength, but we waste it chasing Jenkenheimer for petty revenge.
It's not petty. It's what the superpowers do all the time. Did Austria just move on after Archduke Ferdinand was executed? No. They honored his legacy by escalating things to a global war. And then they shot a torpedo into the Lusitania for good measure. And then only good things happened after that.
Well, actually, I think they...
The crab-handed man clamps down on Captain Crayfish again.
Only good things happened!
The Isopod Mistress forces the crab-handed man off of Captain Crayfish. They stare at each other for a tense moment.
Your anger is your strength, but it is also your curse. Our people need a leader, not a brute. The lobster-handed man doesn't want the blood of one man. He wants an empire in his name, and you could have built it by now if you just...
I will build no empire on a foundation of broken sand.
How do you break sand?
Freedom cannot be upheld until all debts have been paid. It's not simply Jenkenheimer that walks us through his breathing and his bowel movements. It's every man, woman, and person who knew of our subservience and decided to do nothing. If you do not understand that kind of freedom, perhaps it is your turn to learn. Kill my sister. I promise I shall free our people from the next sunrise.
If that is what it would take, then Jenkenheimer will die tonight.
The lobster-handed crew slit their throats in unison and lights out. Lights up on half the stage. William lies groggily on the couch with Jimmy sitting on the edge. Jimmy sits on the arm of the chair solemnly. He looks at a small photo in his hand that is projected on the back wall to reveal a picture of Jimmy and the crab-handed man standing together as comrades. He puts the photo away and pulls out a recorder from with the couch cushion. He starts to play hot cross buns, which stirs William away.
Where are we now?
It's one of my safe houses.
What? What, isn't the crab-handed man just gonna follow us?
Lights up on the other side of the stage. The crab-handed man struggles to pick the book off the ground due to his crab claws. Captain Crayfish reaches down to pick it up for him, but he pushes him away.
I can do it. I can do it.
Lights out on the lobster-handed turtle.
That's gonna take a minute. There's gonna be enough time to figure out how to get this show back on track.
Wait, this is still part of the show. Why are you all still here?
Billy enters with another bucket of books.
William, stop trying to chase away our fan base. Jimmy, I got the backup bucket of books. You sure it's going to be necessary?
Hopefully not. But I feel better if it's knowing it's near.
Okay, slow down. What book are we even in this time?
A pig man marches across the stage to the Soviet Union national anthem. A projection is shown saying all animals are created equal, but some are more equal than others. William gives a few snorts and keeps moving.
I mean, do you still need to tell you, or was that?
No, that was pretty self-explanatory.
William falls onto the couch stressfully. Jimmy gets closer to him.
Hey there, buddy. Got a case of the world-shattering revelation-ese?
If I knew all these books were real, I would have done more than just read the Spark Notes in high school. There's crab people in The Great Gatsby.
Well, in the book that F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote, no. But in the world that the book takes place in, surprisingly, yes.
But why do they want to kill you?
Yeah, well, you know how sometimes you think you've made a friend, and that friend needs a little help getting their homework done, and it's an assignment that you've done like 20 times at this point, so you don't see the trouble in helping out. So you help them figure out some problems, but then you slowly realize it's not so much of a homework assignment as it is a grand scheme to invert the institution of indentured servitude in their society, thus beginning the enslavement of the entire human race, not just within one world, but every world that can be accessed through the sacred art of bookkeeping.
I don't think I was ready for an adventure after all. I'm just gonna go back to my seat. The crab-handed man left everyone there alone, so I'll just...
No, come on, you're doing great. Billy told me you chased off Captain Crayfish all by yourself.
What? No, that was stupid. I didn't even do anything. It just kind of happened. It was dangerous. Like, what would have happened if I picked a spell that made his crayfish 10 feet tall or shoot lasers out of his eyes? Or what if I read a spell out of the book and nothing happened? If I just held out for a little longer, I probably could have figured out something safer.
Hey, safe is a word reserved for OSHA inspectors, contraceptive engineers, and umpires that got paid to make the Yankees win. Do you know why we use the bucket of books? Because the best adventures aren't the ones you can choose. They're the ones that show up before you have a chance to think about things like logistics or safety harnesses. See, if I gotta choose what we would be doing today, I definitely wouldn't have chosen charging into the stronghold of my most dangerous rival, and then we wouldn't be stuck in a cat and mouse chase across the universes where anyone could die at any moment. But you know who did know that this was gonna be today's adventure?
Do you always just act without thinking?
Oh, I think all the time. I just never bothered to keep thinking after my first thought. For instance, you know what I think could really heighten your spirits? I'm gonna get everyone in this room a nice hot cup of chocolate milk.
Jimmy, you're lactose intolerant.
Well, whoops.
Jimmy exits.
How's your head?
As good as it can be after 2 concussions. I wasn't planning on sleeping anyway, not while this Don Quixote paper is still hanging over me.
Here, you should start writing.
Billy removes a piece of paper from his clipboard. They hand it over to William.
Hey, thanks, but it's like a 5,000-word essay. I'm gonna need a bit more paper.
Billy removes a second piece of paper and hands it to William. They reach into their other pocket and pull out a golf pencil for him to use.
Thanks, dude.
William starts to write.
Hey, so how do you spell Cervantes again?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you really think coming here was going to be enough to write an entire paper?
I didn't have a better idea. Don Quixote isn't really exciting. Then again, school isn't exciting either. So, I get handed a pamphlet with this fancy Mormon on the cover. It says he's gonna teach me all there is to know about books, and here I am.
I think Jimmy would have done the same if he were in your shoes.
I believe that. This was clearly a stupid idea.
Was it?
Yeah, maybe, usually stuff like this is where I hear my dad on repeat saying stuff like, don't be too rash, don't be too bold. The best gift you can give your future self is an easy, comfortable life. Except, this whole time, I don't think I've been able to stop and think about what my dad would say to me. And this is the longest I've gone without feeling that way since I was like 9. I guess that just makes me feel kind of good.
Huh. I love my dad. But I think I understand what you're saying. You really are like Jimmy in that way. You just learn to let his gut take the wheel.
Yeah, that's cool. But if my gut's gonna lead me to a public access TV show where I have to fight for my life against that villain from the Powerpuff Girls, I'm not sure that's worth it.
I would agree with you, but nothing you've been through today is because Jimmy trusted his gut. It's because he's been doing the opposite.
Maniacal laughter is heard on stage. Billy stands out their book in hand.
Stay close. She's near.
That's me? Oh, who is?
Your doom!
Blackout. Lights up. The Isopod mistress stands over William. William attempts to run, but is apprehended by the Isopod mistress. Billy attempts to strike at her, but she pushes them away. She holds him hostage.
Jimmy, help!
Jimmy enters with a tray of chocolate milk.
Isopod mistress? Oh, shoot, I can't spill the milk.
Jimmy runs off stage. He runs back on stage without the tray.
Isopod mistress?
I will kill you, Jenkenheimer! I will kill you like an isopod kills a rat!
Those animals don't really interact.
Isopod, you know I'm not your enemy. I want to see your people free just as much as you do, so let William go, and I promise you no harm.
No harm. No harm. No harm!
The Isopod mistress laughs again. As she laughs, Jimmy turns to Billy and nods. Billy charges the Isopod mistress. They miss, but she releases William's evade. William cowers behind the couch as Billy fights the Isopod mistress. Jimmy searches through the waste bin.
Oh, hi everyone. As you can tell, I'm in a bit of a rush, but I think you can help.
Jimmy leads the bin towards the audience. It's filled with books.
I know I just said we have to look at the bucket of books to pick our next adventure, but there's one extra special book I really need right now. So we're gonna fill the room with some good vibes for good luck. I know Billy had you all shout out your favorite book earlier, so what I want you to do is shout your second favorite book. And then after that, your third, and then your fourth, and then just keep going down the line until I find what I'm looking for. And I said, no, let me hear it.
Molly's book from American Girl Dolls.
As the crowd shouts out their favorite books, Jimmy rifles through the bin. He eventually pulls out a copy of Lord of the Flies. He holds up the red card to celebrate.
Jimmy!
Oh, right.
He opens the book, revealing a walkie-talkie placed in the hole carved into the pages. He grabs it and holds it to his mouth.
Raspberry, 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 raspberry.
Lights out. Everyone except the Isopod mistress Billy. Isopod mistress has Billy pinned down.
You're a proud warrior, but I must end this for the good of my people and the sanity of my leader.
As Isopod mistress raises her fist, Amanda's arm reaches out and grabs it. She pulls the Isopod mistress aside. Lights up to reveal Amanda standing over Isopod mistress. She aims a sword at her chest.
That's enough, mistress. I won't let you lay a finger on this one.
Jenkenheimer's not under the regime's protection, nor is his apprentice.
He's not, but they are.
Amanda points to the audience.
Everyone seated here is a non-combatant and an inhabitant of book G1333, which is firmly protected under the regime control. If it's your desire, you're more than welcome to slaughter them all. You just have to fight me first.
You think you're so righteous? You dare me to fight you empty-handed, knowing I will be sliced in two with one strike of your blade. The regime loves to call themselves protectors, but only chooses to take fights they know will win.
Amanda takes a moment, then beckons William to approach her. When he does, she hands him her sword and takes a fighting stance. Isopod mistress cautiously rises to her feet, but runs off before Amanda can catch her. William approaches Amanda with her sword.
Here's your, sword.
Careful with that. Joan of Arc is very fond of the sword, and I'd appreciate keeping it in one piece for now.
Oh, sorry, Joan of Arc? You're like one of her knights? Oh, I mean, I guess that's not really even in the top 10 for or weirdest things I've seen today.
Jimmy, what's going on? Why are you shouting raspberry into the comm over and over again?
I thought raspberry was the code word for help.
The code word for help is help. And who are all these people?
Oh, well, Amanda, welcome to the Jimmy Jenkenheimer Adventure Supermaster Show. This is my audience.
You brought a live audience to your manhunt?
I mean, everyone's having a good time so far, right? Wait. Crap. The ice mistress just kill anyone? Oh, wait, no, there you are. You all good?
Billy holds up the red applause card. William holds his hand up.
Hi, I'm William. Nice to meet you.
Amanda LeGrand, Adventure Supermaster.
Oh.
See, William, just like how I'm Billy's mentor, Amanda was my mentor. And she taught me everything I know.
So she's like your grand mentor?
No.
It's nice to see you again, Billy.
Yep, there's gonna be time for Billy to have an emotional arc of acceptance later, but if the ice pod mistress is here, the crab hand man can't be that far behind.
Where will you go?
Any chance you could lend us a hand?
Do you know how much trouble I could be in just by standing here?
Jimmy holds out his hands a little bit.
This much?
Amanda shakes her head. Jimmy extends his arm a tiny bit.
This much?
Amanda extends her arms all the way.
This much! There's not a chance of me taking you anywhere. Look, I'm sorry, but this wasn't meant to be a rescue mission. If we're found together, that's it, for me and for you.
Jimmy walks over to the bunker box.
What if I knew a spot where no one would find us?
Are you talking about...
Jimmy, no.
It's okay. If the crab handed man found this safe house, he's gonna find the rest, and if Amanda can't take us somewhere more secure, there's only one place I can know that he wouldn't think to check.
Jimmy reaches into the bucket and pulls out a copy of Catcher in the Rye. Jimmy hands the book to Amanda.
Could someone clue me in on where exactly we're going?
Amanda strikes William in the head. From the back of the head, he falls down. Amanda hands the book to Billy, who strikes himself and collapses. Jimmy grabs the book as Billy falls. Just before he hits himself, Amanda stops him.
Wait, we need to talk.
Forget it, because I'm not going back to the regime.
And they wouldn't take you back if you wanted to. I want to talk about all this.
What's wrong with
A TV show? This is your new plan?
you? Why not? I'm still helping people. I'm just doing it in a less everyone keeps dying for my mistakes way.
That's not what we agreed on when you left. You said you'd do the good work the regime was too scared to do.
Yeah, well, turns out that kind of work is something even I'm too scared to do.
Amanda grabs the book from Jimmy's hand.
I'm working really hard to meet you in the middle. But we aren't going to get anywhere when you keep blaming yourself for what happened to me.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Here, let me just take this guilt helmet off my head.
Jimmy pantomimes trying to take off a helmet that seems glued to his head.
Oh, wait, that's right. That's not a thing.
You know what I mean. Why can't you focus on the good you were doing?
Oh, but you mean like the fantastic job I did teaming up with the lobster-handed crew? Or even the better job I did handling the lobster-handed man?
You did the right thing. He was a psychopath. He was going to enslave the human race.
And look how close I was to doing it with him. Because if I stick around this vigilante crap, sooner or later I'm going to be no better than him. And therefore, that far apart as it is, maybe it's just what happens when you're from one of those Lost Generation books.
He was from The Great Gatsby. You're from Winnie the Pooh.
Well, there wasn't any 100-acre woods in my backyard. I'm not stupid. I know I can't keep running, okay? Within the next 5 years, there's either won't be a Jimmy Jenkenheimer, won't be a crab-handed man, or we'll both end up putting each other in the dirt at the same time. Then the regime can swoop in to clean up the aftermath like they always do, and this little squabble will be something to teach the apprentices in history class. For now, I just want a little peace and quiet before things have to get nasty. I don't think it's too much to ask.
And what about the people that get hurt between now and then? Who's going to help the people you swore to protect?
Jimmy lifts the book to his head.
I don't know anyone who's been better off after me.
Jimmy hits himself in the head and tosses it to Amanda as he falls. She handles herself by the waistband and hits herself in the head so that the book falls into the vanished rooms. Lights up, the ice pod mistress and Captain Crayfish stand with their heads bowed. The shrimp-faced gentleman sorts through the bucket, picking up and examining several books before dropping them back in the bin. The crab-handed man watches over him.
I have a question. Who here is in pain?
Only the crab-handed man raises his hand.
That's interesting. Only me? because I am in an excruciating amount of pain. I hurt when I wake up each morning, realizing I let another day go by with my leader unavenged. I hurt when I look at the ineptitude of my comrades, who can't seem to do anything right. But mostly I just hurt just so I can feel anything at all. It's a horrid pain, and I feel it right about here.
The crab-handed man slowly reaches out and pitches to Captain Crayfish. He begins to writhe in pain.
These circumstances have been far from fortuitous.
They've never been fortuitous. Our people don't need vengeance, our people don't need power, and our people don't need slaves. They need freedom, they need heroes,
Our people will wait. Our people have waited for centuries, and so long as I breathe the same air as Jenkenheimer, they will continue to wait. He hurts me, sister. Sometimes I feel so much pain, all the air will leave my lungs, and I question if I will ever breathe again. You have never felt the suffering I endure because of that charlatan. The charlatan, and because of that, you will never truly understand why I will never relent. Shrimp-faced gentlemen,
The shrimp-faced gentleman stands up.
it's your turn. I will find Jenkenheimer, and when I do, I expect you to be merciless.
The shrimp-faced gentleman nods and exits.
But how will you find him? There must be 100 books in there.
Jimmy has taken his skill and decided to run a silly little TV show to get his message across. Perhaps it's time we do something similar.
Blackout. Jimmy, Amanda, William, and Billy all walk cautiously across cautiously with flashlights held up to their faces, pretending to walk through piles of rubble and debris. William ends up tripping and falls. Amanda helps him up.
Easy there, Adventure Supermaster. It's rocky ground.
Oh, I'm not like Jimmy and Billy. I go to college.
You're humble. Jimmy told me that Billy told him that you fended off Captain Crayfish. That's very impressive.
You really think so?
Absolutely. You actually seemed just as adequate as Jimmy was when you joined the regime. Though, when we first met, he talked a lot more of something called the Zapruder footage.
All I'm saying is that if Lee Harvey Oswald only fired 3 bullets,
I know, Jimmy. You made me watch the movie.
Don't let her butter you up, William. Nothing makes the regime salivate more than a naive kid that just learned how to lead. This might as well be an army kiosk at a Midwestern shopping mall.
Oh, calm down, Billy. I'm just getting to know your new companion.
Yeah, Billy, it's cool. So you're an adventure supermaster like Jimmy?
Yes and no. I'm part of a collection of interdimensional guardians known as the Adventure Supermaster Regime. We protect and govern nearly half the known books in existence. There's probably not a single book you've read that isn't under the regime's jurisdiction.
wasn't it in that brochure that you gave me when we met at that mall kiosk?
Jimmy, stop talking.
So Jimmy's part of the regime?
Oh, I was. I noped out a little more than like 3 years ago.
The key word of Adventure Supermaster Regime is master. They're less about helping people and a bit more concerned tearing down orphanages to make rooms for statues of Confederate generals.
Is that what you told him?
If Billy forms his own opinions, I just give him the tools to express it. Okay, cool with the exposition, because, we're here.
Lights up on an overturned couch at the center stage.
Jesus, what happened here?
The lobster-headed crew happened.
What, you mean they...
Welcome to my old stopping grounds, William. Home sweet home.
Lights up, an overturned couch at center stage. Jimmy and Billy turn it right side up. Jimmy takes a seat. He pulls his purple book from his back pocket and places it down next to him.
Well, it's certainly not up to fire code, but I think we can keep cozy for the time being.
Suddenly, a projection of the lobster-handed crew appears in the background.
Greetings, everyone. My name's the Crab-Handed Man.
Now,
And this is my lobster-handed crew. I do apologize for the interruption, but I come to you today with a simple plea. I am asking for any information on a delinquent in a red jacket named Jimmy Jenkenheimer. Should anyone know the whereabouts of Jimmy, please call this toll-free number listed below. I do once again apologize for the interruption. This broadcast will only be interrupting your scheduled program for the next 2 weeks.
Will someone mute that?
Amanda mutes the projection and continues to play on a loop in the background.
I have a question. Why is he called a crab-handed man if he's leading the lobster-handed crew? Shouldn't he be called the lobster-handed man?
Everyone flinches at that name.
The lobster-handed man isn't around anymore.
Why? What happened to him?
I haven't. I'm gonna see if there's anything more salvaging. Can you keep watch?
No problem.
Jimmy exits. Billy sits on one end of the couch. Amanda slowly approaches him. As they're talking, William slowly inches towards Jimmy's book and starts to pick it up.
So, like, did he kill him?
It's not our place to share. If Jimmy wants you to know, you'll be sure to know.
Well said, Billy. I must say, you've certainly come into your own since last we met. I'm quite impressed.
Sweet talk doesn't work on me, Amanda. I'm very happy with Jimmy.
Of course. Jimmy's an excellent teacher. But aren't you concerned you're limiting yourself? He hardly has the same resources we could offer you.
Jimmy says the only resource on Adventure's Supermaster needs is experience. Wouldn't you agree?
It's certainly valuable as a field agent. But is that all you want to be? Has Jimmy taught you about diplomacy, cultural sensitivity?
It may sound hard to believe, but Jimmy actually gives me a chance to meet people of different cultures instead of learning about them in an office building.
As you're saying this, William attempts to strike himself with the book. Without looking, Amanda reaches out and stops William's arm before he hit himself.
Don't do that.
How did you?
That's Jimmy's forbidden book.
Jimmy has a forbidden book.
What's a forbidden book?
Not all books can be left out of. Some are inescapable pits. Leaping into one of these is a sense of permanent exile for not just your home world, but all worlds. And it's absolutely something that should only be in the hands of an official adventure supermaster. Where did he even get this?
He never gave it back. For such an all-encompassing governing body, you guys sure have a crappy exit interview process. And why does the regime find it necessary to carry those around anyway? Aren't you trained enough to disarm your enemies without sentencing them to eternal solitude?
It may sound hard to believe, but the world around us have threats a bit more dangerous than the lobster-handed crew.
Really? Because when I look around here,
William gestures to the world around them.
I mean, what even happened?
Crab-handed man ambushed us. He was pinned down here in the library while the rest of the crew set fire to the city, and by the time we broke free from his assault, the whole town was a cinder. And the fire just kept spreading.
Why? Because of what you did to a lobster-handed man?
I said don't go there, William.
Did you call for help? Did you call Amanda like you just did 10 minutes ago?
Calm down, William.
I'm not gonna calm down. We've been chased through multiple books and it's starting to make sense.
The lobster-handed man was a tyrant. He wanted to enslave the human race for his own goals.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like Jimmy took that much time to figure out a better way to stop him. He didn't think. He never thinks. He just thrusts his gut at a plastic bucket and hopes that's enough to get him where he needs to go. Have you actually taken a second to see where you've led us? Because looking around, it seems pretty obvious.
William, you are seriously crossing a line right now.
Just answer me this, Amanda. When the crew started to burn, set things on fire, would you have come if Jimmy had called?
The regime has a policy of not aiding or supporting deserters. We would not have helped Jimmy fight the lobster-handed crew. However, if he had asked for help in evacuating the citizens, we would have replied.
Well, great job, Jimmy. Absolutely stellar. I get now why people shout that stuff at you. OJ probably was innocent.
I told you not to say that!
Jimmy manages to snatch the red applaud card from Billy's pocket.
Come on, everyone. Let's give a big hand to Jimmy Jenkenheimer.
Billy chases after William. William keeps rattling off and controls Amanda gets between them. She grabs both by the backs of their collars.
Enough! This is not the time. Like it or not, we're stuck here until the crab-handed man gives up, and I'm not playing babysitter for you two.
Amanda releases Billy and William. She turns to Jimmy.
Jimmy, are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just gonna go to bed, I think.
Jimmy falls onto the couch.
I feel sad for hours right now.
Amanda and Billy both give William a look before exiting. William looks at the crab-handed man projection, then slowly reaches into his pocket and pulls out his black gown. Lights up on Jimmy still on the couch. The crab-handed man stands over him. Jimmy stirs awake. He slowly sits up and sees the crab-handed man.
Well, Jimmy, what is it you always say? Who's gunning for a good time?
I guess that's close enough. How did I get here?
You are perhaps the heaviest sleeper I've ever seen.
What do you want?
World domination, enslavement of the human race, a crab claw ointment that doesn't smell funny. But tonight I think I'll settle for a little chit-chat for old time's sake.
The crab-headed man steps around the couch. Jimmy stands to meet him.
3 years ago, I left the regime looking for people that needed real change. I knocked on the door of a warehouse, claiming to be a youth hostel, and I met one of my closest friends.
That's a nice story. 3 years ago, I lost my father to a hoodlum and a betrayer, and also an old-fashioned jerk. It's you. You're all three of those people I was describing.
If you promise to abandon the lobster-headed man's goal of enslavement and subjugation, I promise to forgive you. You have my word.
Yeah, there's no promise you can make to me. Not after the promise you've already broken.
I promised you your freedom.
You promised us our liberation.
You're right. I haven't honored my promise. I haven't abandoned you. You deserve justice, and I will be there to help you get it done. I can't replace one time with another.
That's easy to say when you don't have an exoskeleton.
You know, I may never understand you, but I know that since this war between us has started, you have done nothing to free your people. I've been back to the Great Gatsby many times. I've seen the innocent crustacean folk get accosted in the streets. They feel powerless to do anything in return because they don't have anything that makes them feel powerful. And when I first met you, I thought you'd be more than a warrior. You'd be a symbol for the people, a reminder that it is an option to fight back. All you've done is to show them is that my blood is worth more than theirs. I will never forgive myself for the things I've done. But I will also never forgive you for the things you have.
What can I do? You say I'm a hero, but heroes should be able to protect their fathers. I can still see it sometimes. I can't see anything but the bedchamber of Jay Gatsby and the two of you hurling off the balcony. We were both so close then. Perhaps closer than he and I were. But then without warning, you turned and with that forbidden book that you took such pride in, you struck him. He disappeared in front of me before I could even say so much as goodbye. It's harder to remember his face now, but when I see you hurt, he becomes clearer in my mind, stronger in my heart.
Jimmy takes a step forward, arms extended.
It's never gonna end, is it?
It could, if we ended together. Face me tomorrow. Confront the entirety of the lobster-headed crew and face justice for your crime.
It was bound to happen at some point. I suppose tomorrow's as good a time as any.
Meet us at the park on 3rd Street.
Is that the one with the fountain?
What? No, that's the one on 9th. I'm talking about the one with the duck pond.
Is it your Popeyes?
No! Well, I guess yes technically, but it's still a bit too far to be considered the park near Popeyes.
Okay, I'll just tell you what. Just have Captain Crayfish email me the directions and I'll put it in Google Maps.
Okay, I guess that works. You can go now.
Oh, is that the door?
Jimmy begins to leave, but the crab-handed man is blocking his path.
Oh shoot, hold on. I think I can angle it.
Here, can you just take a step
And that's what
back?
I'm doing, genius.
Can I just, let me talk on
In a rush much?
You're taking up so much space right now.
Jimmy suddenly does as the crab-handed man. He starts to leave, but stops. He turns back.
Hey, crab-handed man. Look, you may have me outnumbered, outmaneuvered, and outlasted. There's one thing I have that you never do. I can do this.
The crab-headed man attempts to snap, but he can't with his claws. Despite his failed attempts, he reaches into his shirt pocket and pulls out a red applause card.
Hey! Where'd you get that?
There was an extra one backstage. Yeah.
He grabs the side of the crab-headed man.
Ah!
The crab-headed man tries to snap again, but to no avail.
Curse you!
Lights up on William, Billy, and Amanda sleeping on the floor. The sound of light opera music wakes William up. The shrimp-faced gentleman sits calmly on the couch. His figure is silhouetted.
Jimmy?
Lights up on the shrimp-faced gentleman. William frantically shakes Amanda and Billy awake. They see the shrimp-faced gentleman and rise to their feet. Amanda aims her sword at him.
Shrimp-faced gentleman, I know you well. You are perhaps the strongest and most sadistic member of the lobster-handed crew. You are more than a barbarian to be reasoned with. I ask you to listen to my plea. Go home now. These two are under my protection, and if you take but one step forward, I will bring forth my fury as an adventure supermaster, a knight of the Armatic army, and a woman bound to her word. I say once more, not a step forward.
The shrimp-faced gentleman coyly takes one step forward, then mimics slitting his throat. Amanda lunges forward, but the shrimp-faced gentleman grabs her sword from the blade with ease, stopping her in her tracks.
Ah, shit.
Blackout. The sound of carnage and shouting is heard in the darkness as the shrimp-faced gentleman fights Amanda, Billy, and William. Lights up, Billy stands exhausted, on guard, carrying Amanda's sword. Amanda, meanwhile, wraps a bloody bandage around William's head.
Amanda? Billy?
Jimmy rushes on stage and sees the wreckage of the night before.
What happened?
The shrimp-faced gentleman ambushed us.
It was 3-on-1, but he still took us to the limit. William took a bad hit to the head.
Jimmy slowly approaches William, appalled at his wound.
He's a little rattled, but he held his own. That's a good soldier you've got here.
Concussion number 4, huh?
Jimmy slowly takes a step back.
Is everything okay, Jimmy?
I met with the crab-headed man last night. He wants to fight me tomorrow morning. We're gonna settle it once and for all.
Well, that's great. We can finish this. Amanda can lend a hand, and even William
You're
can
not
do-
coming with me. None of you are.
What?
Billy, you're taking William back home, and then you're going with Amanda. Back to the regime.
Don't be stupid.
I'm not. For the first time in my life, I'm not. In the moment the crab-headed man sidesteps onto the battlefield, it's going to be a bloodbath half the world's going to hear about. I'm not losing you or Amanda because you got tied up in my mess. I'm not letting any more innocent people get caught in the crossfire of it all. I'm sorry, William. You were right.
Jimmy starts to leave. Billy chases after him.
Jimmy,
Jimmy doesn't turn back.
I'll let you take William home. We'll talk after.
Amanda exits. William approaches Billy.
Honestly, dude, I think you're gonna be in much better hands. The regime feels like such a more organized structure to lean on, doesn't it? I mean, sure, maybe in a few years you could go back to this whole vigilante thing that you got going on, but you could agree that right now you really have to lay down some more suitable foundations for the...
it was you, wasn't it?
What?
I didn't call the crew. Amanda wouldn't have revealed that she was with us. Jimmy wouldn't have put us at risk. The only person dumb enough to give up our location was you.
Hey, take it easy, man. I just thought this whole thing would get resolved if Jimmy actually faced some consequences.
Do you know what you've done?
Yeah, but I don't think you know. Listen, man, I was okay with Jimmy for the most part, but he let his ego get in the way of all those people. The regime could have helped, but he didn't think. And maybe you didn't either.
You don't know anything about me. We have nothing in common.
You literally have the same first...
No, we don't! Billy is short for Bilbo, not William.
Oh, okay. I mean, you never told me that.
And you never bothered to dig any deeper. You haven't tried to understand anything you've seen today. For a guy that's always talking about making well thought out choices, you don't seem to ask any meaningful questions.
Then I don't know. Tell me something.
Sure, I'll just give you the answers. That's why you came here in the first place, right? So Jimmy would just give you the answers to your homework. You know why I hate the regime? Because when my dad got sick and he had to send me to an orphanage, the regime tore it down. It was some stupid condition they made in their new alliance with a group of Civil War veterans. My orphanage was destroyed.
So they could build a statue of a Confederate general. But why would they do that?
Because even though there's a lot of good people, like Amanda, who works in the regime, it's still an oligarchy. where everything is run by a dozen adventure supermasters that are old as dirt and never had the chance to feel unwanted. And for every good deed someone like Amanda does in the regime, there are 10 more atrocities she's complicit in just by benefiting from their system. After that, I was on my own. My dad tried his best, but he was too far gone, so I just ended up wandering. Until I met Jimmy. He took me in, he gave me food, shelter, but most importantly, he gave me a reason to fight. He taught me how to lead, because he knew I wanted to save people who were just as in need as I was.
But when they burned down the city,
That wasn't just another safe house. It was a haven he set up for people who got the short end of the regime's bureaucracy. See, the people who don't fit the regime's values don't get a chance to succeed in their world. Jimmy could have called Amanda, and maybe a whole platoon of adventure supermasters would have come with her. Then half the people who we saved would have been sent back to the places they risked their lives to escape. We managed to save most, but it didn't make it any harder on Jimmy to see the rest. He doesn't just blame himself for the fire, he blames himself for anyone who's ever been hurt while he was within reach. It's why he runs his TV show now. No one ever killed anyone in the name of Fred Rogers, I guess. So, maybe the next time you want to start making accusations about myself or my friend, you take a second to listen to your own advice and think.
Billy removes a large stack of papers from his clipboard and hands it to William.
Here,
what's this?
your Don Quixote essay, 5,000 words.
You've been writing this the whole time?
I thought at the end of all of this, it's the least we owed you. Now, come on, let's go.
Billy leads William off stage. William stops for a moment and looks back at the stage and reflects on his adventure. He follows Billy off stage. Blackout. Holden Caulfield walks onto the stage. Jimmy approaches him from behind with a bus ticket in his hand.
Hey, it's Holden, right? Here, I want you to have this.
Jimmy hands Holden the bus ticket.
I know things have been kind of confusing for you. Believe me, I get the feeling. Sometimes we just need a break to sort everything out. Anyway, that's a bus ticket to Wisconsin. There's this guy I met that runs a rye farm right on the edge of Lake Michigan. And we talked for a bit, and believe it or not, he really does have a problem with kids running through his rock field and getting too close to the water. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're looking for a change of pace, you try being the catcher.
Jimmy pats Holden on the shoulder. Holden starts to exit and crumbles the ticket into a ball.
This guy doesn't get me at all.
Jimmy looks up and sees the audience.
Oh, hi there. I didn't think you'd still be around. I'm not sure how noticeable it was, but it hasn't been that funny for a moment, you know? You know what? I'll make you a deal. You've all been so great hanging through me and the gang's emotional trauma. I think I owe you all a good laugh. Deal?
Jimmy unbuckles his belt and drops his pants down to his ankles.
How's that? Let's work for now? Who's ready for an adventure? I say that a lot. Not really sure why. I thought it was just some like marketing tagline you were drilling into your head so it's still relevant. You know, something like just do it or they can't lick our dick. But I don't know. Maybe it's my way of like moving forward. You can't think about what happened on the last adventure. You're already ready for the next one. As until what's behind me is moving faster than I can run, and for the first time in my life, I can't look at you all and ask who's ready for an adventure. I think I have to ask. Are you ready for our last adventure?
Jimmy pulls out a red card and pulls it up.
Yeah. Me too.
Jimmy tosses the card aside. Billy enters.
Hey,
Billy sees Jimmy's pants. Immediately, they drop their pants and approach him.
What are you doing here?
I wasn't there when you banished the lobster-handed man, but I've been here for everything that's happened after. I don't care what you say. This means this mess belongs to both of us, and I'm not about to let you finish this without me.
Jimmy hesitates to accept Billy's invitation. Amanda enters.
Count me in two.
Jimmy and Billy turn to Amanda. She sees her pants.
What kind of TV show is this?
Man, you really shouldn't be here. I mean, if the regime finds out.
They can fire me. I've been loyal to those red red-robed fossils for as long as I can remember. If they're gonna cut ties with me because I decided to stay by my friend's side, I'll kick all their asses as a final farewell.
The three share a group hug. William awkwardly shuffles on the stage.
Hi guys.
They turn to see him. William sees Billy and Jimmy, and he drops his pants with them. Jimmy and Billy turns to a window.
Absolutely not.
Jimmy, I've never seen someone actually get to act on their instincts and have it work out. I've been told since the day I could listen that being bold and chasing your dreams will only hurt you and everyone that counts on you. That's why I turned you in to the lobster-handed crew. But I'm wrong, Jimmy. I'm wrong. I think I knew from the start, but I'm so jealous of the life you get to live, that you all get to live, and though you have every right to turn me away and send me back, I would be honored if you let me fight by your side.
Jimmy approaches William and gives him a hug.
But, William, how'd you even get back?
William pulls out a book.
Oh, Jimmy was right. After the night concussion, it didn't really feel like my head could get any worse.
Blackout. Lights up, the lobster-handed crew stands at attention.
Well, Jimmy Jenkenheimer, you've brought a little band of rapscallions to die by your side.
Lobster-handed crew, I ask you all one last time to reconsider. We were friends once. I was there when you broke free and spilled your oppressor's blood. Leave with us now. Let us free people together. And then together, we will make sure that you are seen in the eyes of man as equals, not as slaves or as slave masters.
The lobster-handed crew hesitates, but the crab-handed man glares at them. He glares them all down.
Very well. I'm sorry, crab-handed man. I wish it could have ended any other way.
That's touching. I don't.
Billy hands Jimmy his forbidden book.
This is it, Jimmy? Then make sure you end it for good.
Jimmy takes the book. A tableau of battle images takes the stage. Each character facing off to form a snapshot of a larger battle. After several tableaus, Jimmy gains the upper hand over the crab-handed man and drops him to his knees.
Shrimpface, bring Jenkenheimer to his knees. Avenge the lobster-handed man. Avenge my father. Long live the claw!
The shrimp-faced gentleman steps forward. Jimmy takes a fighting stance, but the shrimp-faced gentleman hesitates to attack. Slowly, he drops his guard. After a moment of contemplation, he extends his hand. Jenkenheimer slowly accepts his handshake, and the shrimp-faced gentleman walks away.
What? Where are you going? Wait!
Captain Crayfish approaches the crab-handed man.
I don't have any guts left for your crush.
Captain Crayfish exits. The Gaisify mistress approaches the crab-handed man.
No, please don't do this.
The sun has risen. We're going home, crab-handed man. Our people need us. But I'm not sure they need you.
The lobster-handed crew exits.
No, come back. Don't leave me.
Jimmy pulls out the photo of the two. He offers it to the crab-handed man.
Come with me, crab-handed man. Let me help you.
Crab-handed man takes the photo. After looking at it briefly, he begins to reach his claw out. Suddenly, he changes his demeanor and begins to strangle Jenkenheimer with his claw.
No! Please, it has to end. I can never end.
I understand. And I forgive you.
Crab-handed man nods. Jimmy strikes himself in the crab-handed man with his forbidden book.
Jimmy, no!
Lights up. All that remains is Jimmy's book. Amanda, William, and Billy all circle around the two items. William reaches down and grabs the book.
William, don't.
There's gotta be a way, right? Like there's always a way to come back.
Not with forbidden books, maybe.
But you're the regime. You're the most powerful society to ever exist. You're telling me you never figured a way out that can bring someone back?
It's out of our hands. Jimmy chose his own path, just as he always has.
William steps back. He slowly drops the book on the ground. After a moment, Billy begins to leave.
Billy, where are you going?
Jimmy made a promise that he would help the lobster-handed crew lead their people to freedom. I'm gonna see that through.
You believe them? You think they'll choose to work with humanity once free, not enslave us?
The lobster-handed man was a paying person. So was the crab-handed man. The others, I think at the end of the day, they just want a place to call home.
Then I hope you help them find it.
Billy gives a single wave to William. William waves. Billy exits.
What now?
You know, William, you're scrappy, brave. You figured out all the right things by the end, and most importantly, you managed to leap out of all by yourself with no training. I think I just might know what you're calling
What?
that. Adventure Supermaster.
Are you serious?
We always use new recruits.
I don't know. Some of the stuff Billy told me.
It's heinous what happened to them. The regime is slow, antiquated, run by those who put on their own interests above all else. I can't promise any of that will change greatly within either of our lifetimes. But I can promise that the regime would be even a worse place if there weren't people like us around to make the right choice when it needs to be made. What do you say?
I say,
William turns to the audience.
who's ready for an adventure?
Blackout curtain.
We can take a 5